how do we motivate employees to stick around? Employee turnover is one of the most stressful aspects of any business owner. Hiring, canvassing, trying to find people to plug into our system that is pretty much already moving. So we have to throw people in there, and it's just a headache. And I want to help give you some intangibles in this podcast episode to help you motivate and keep your employees excited and happy to stick with you and your organization. The big question you need to ask yourself every day is, do I own a job or do I own a business? And unfortunately, the majority of contractors out there own a job. That's right, they're a slave to their own business. But the other side of the fence is so much greener, it's so much better, and that's when you're finally fully in control of your destiny, your freedom, your time. And that's what Contractor Secrets is about. It's about taking back our time, building a business with systems, standards, values, procedures, putting yourself in the driver's seat. And that's what it's about. So I'm excited. I'm happy to have you here. Let's dive into the Contractor Secrets podcast. What's up, everyone? Okay, we're going to talk about a topic that you may have heard about, maybe you haven't. It works in all types of relationships. I'm going to focus on the business aspect, but you can use your own analogies to help you with other areas of your life. But there's a couple things here that I really want to touch base on. And I'll say that the first thing that I want to start off with is motivating your team. Not necessarily motivating your team in a sense that like you have to overcompensate and do things that, out of the normal, because there is a level of understanding. They're there to work. You're there to pay them. That's it. That's the baseline business agreement. When that's the only business agreement, you're not really going to get people that are loyal to you, because if the only thing they have to come to work for is money, it's going to be easy for someone else to offer them money and that be the reason that they leave. And I'll say that I'm thankful that there have been employees of mine that have told me that other people have actually offered them more money, which I doubt in a sense, like other companies. But the money, that's fine. But can they guarantee the work, which is, a different conversation. But really the way they saw it was they maybe offered them $1 more than what they're getting paid. And they decided to stay with me. And I'm very grateful for that. But there's a reason why. They're tied to my business for some reason other than money. So I want to focus on that in today's podcast about how to really create an environment that gives people a different type of currency. Okay. If any of you are familiar with this, I know some of you are into self-help, personal development. We're talking about the 5 love languages. Okay. And really, essentially what it is 5 different ways of expressing and receiving love. Okay. And I'm sorry, you might think of love as this lovey-dovey stuff. I love my employees. I really do. I mean, they're like family, and I would do anything for them, in the same way that they go to bat for me every day and take care of my customers. It's the same way for me with them. And they know that. But there's different love languages for each person. And you really have to do a good job of kind of seeing what motivates people. And that's what I'm going to say is like love languages are essentially different ways to motivate different people. So let me give you an example. I have one employee who really appreciates being appreciated. Maybe in his previous work, he was never appreciated for his hard work. He goes above and beyond. He doesn't expect money for it. So he doesn't expect, really anything other than appreciation. So I make it a point to always appreciate. But one thing that I know is that appreciation is everyone's love language. And I'm going to go through the 5 real quick so I can get back to that. So we have words of affirmation, which are appreciation, encouragement, just verbal encouragement, compliments, that sort of deal. We have quality time. That's more like, husband and wife, relational, love language. But quality time could also be, spending time with your employees, maybe employee gatherings. Acts of service would be going above and beyond for an employee. Acts of service would, there was one act of service that I did where one of my employees got in a car accident and I went above and beyond to dive into the details of what it would take to get him the information to have his car refinanced. So not only would he refinance the car, he'd be able to cover the damages that weren't covered under the insurance policy. So he didn't have to come out of pocket for the couple thousand that he would have had to because it wasn't covered. But instead, by refinancing the car, they actually added a couple thousand to the loan and they broke it up and his payment was like $15 or $20 more per month. That was an act of service that I didn't have to do, but I took it upon myself to do. Gifts is a great way to express gratitude, love, giving somebody a new paintbrush, for example. And then physical touch. That's probably not going to work with us. But, if you pat someone on the back or, come up to them, shake their hand, just that level of connection there is like, man, that's my boss. He respects me. And you know what? I guess I would say that's pretty important. You talk about a business owner who really just doesn't give people the time of day, doesn't really interact much with their team, as opposed to somebody who is excited to talk with you, excited to come up to you and ask you about what's going on, shake your hand, say hello. So obviously there's these 5 different love languages. And again, we're talking business here. So kind of try to bridge the gap between what this means in a relationship and more importantly, what this means in a business owner to employee relationship. And I'd say that the first thing you should understand is that words of affirmation are going to save you from having to hire more people. Because remember, if people come to work just for money, then they're going to leave just for money. But if there's more for them to gain at work than just money, which are the intangibles, that's what we're talking about here, these affirmations, making people feel like what they're doing is valuable, making people feel like what they're doing is appreciated. And they're going to get that probably from the homeowners. But at the end of the day, a lot of people do want the approval of the person they're working for because that gives them a sense of security. So if they're not getting that approval from you, then there's always this wonder. There's this like, okay, like, am I doing a good job? Like, do I have job security? Like, the more I make people feel appreciated for what they do, the more comfortable they know that they have their job and they have their security. Because at the end of the day, humans by nature, like, we're not the type of creature to just be like, okay with making a mistake. Like, if you messed up at work, if you work for somebody, like, am I going to lose my job? Like, and I don't want to ever create that fear, So that's one thing that you need to focus on is like, if you are the type of business owner that maybe has a hard time giving appreciation and maybe you don't know how to because you've never been given it. So you don't know how good it feels. Okay. But I encourage you to be that type of person. Like, literally say thank you for everything, even when things are expected of the person to do because that's their job. Thank them for doing it. I do that all the time. I'll be like, hey man, thanks for showing up on time today. That's just the level of detail I take in terms of appreciation. So that was great. So quality time. Last year, we haven't done it so much because of COVID, but last year I made it a point, man. I wanted everyone to go out. We went out to eat, connected, got to know each other's families. Like, that's important, and I think that goes without saying that you should make it a point to try to get those activities, that interaction time. A good friend of mine, Ryan, took his team to Topgolf. I thought that was awesome. Really cool. Acts of service. So I gave you an example of kind of what I did to help my employee, but you and I both know that there are a lot of situations that are going to occur with our type of employees that come up in their lives. A lot of people at this stage in their life have different, cars they want to buy, different houses they want to rent or buy. Maybe it doesn't really matter. There could be legal issues that come up. There could be all sorts of things that, probation issues that come up, like things that you could help them facilitate with and make it easy for them. That builds loyalty. That builds a level of gratitude, not necessarily making it seem like they owe you something, but when that conversation comes up, like, hey man, come work for me. It's like, man, listen, it's more worth it to me to hang out with this company because I know that Tanner has my back and he showed that many times. So really that is kind of, a really good way. It's being of service to your team in any way that you can. Gifts. This is number 4. Gifts. Really, gifts can be anything that's tangible. I think one of my employees, his birthday came up. He took Friday off, and I just threw down. I gave him the day paid. I put a whole paycheck on his paycheck. I put a whole day on his paycheck that he didn't expect or didn't know about. But I did it because that's a gift to him. He's, I could tell that, he's definitely somebody that can appreciate that. And he did. And it was great. So a little bit of loyalty. It didn't cost much, but it was just, hey man, thanks for everything you do. Hope you had a good time on your birthday. Enjoy the payday there on your paycheck. And then touch, again, we talked about that. That was not too important for the business owner in terms of like, again, these are relationship love languages, but we can definitely transition them to business, touch, handshakes, just sitting there giving someone your eye contact, or even talking on the phone, being that personable with your team. And these things, again, these are the intangibles that you should be focusing on as a business owner in your business to ensure loyalty, to ensure really just trust and gratitude, like all these things that if you don't think are important, you're probably running into hiring issues. If you don't focus on these things, you're probably at a point where you don't really trust your team too much. If you don't do these things, you're probably working right now in the field. If you do focus on all these things, I guarantee you that your days are pretty easy because your guys are taking care of you because you are taking care of them. So make it a focus for you. This is Tanner with Trade Thrive. Great podcast today. I really wanted to share that stuff with you. If you don't know already, we have Trade Thrive coming out. We have Dripjobs coming out. We got Dripjobs coming out. It's going to be great. It's a sales automation platform that you're going to love. So I'm excited to share that with you. And I think we're about a month out. We're going to find out soon. So hopefully that can be released soon. I'm, itching to have that out. And I'm doing a new series called Business Breakthrough, where it's 10 to 15 minutes where we just hammer out details about your business. And I do my best to help solve some of your biggest problems. So if you want any information on how to get on that with me, be happy to do it. It's free. Any way I can serve you, please reach out to me and let me know. You guys are awesome. Thank you for listening. Catch you later. Hey, I just want to take a second to thank you for joining me here on the Contractor Secrets podcast. I'm just going to take this opportunity to let you know that my passion is coaching people, helping people. I've changed my Instagram name to @contractorcoach. And I did that because that is my passion. I want to help you. So please reach out to me. If you have an issue going on in your business, send me an email. Find me on Instagram, message me, and let's do a breakthrough session. I want to work through your problems in your business to help you get to that next level. And one thing that I always say is this, the difference between those that get over the humps and the hurdles in business is just a change in perspective. And that's what I plan to offer you. So get with me, message me, allow me to help you take your business to the next level.